One summer, when I was a kid, my dad received a call from a woman who had a small, couple-day-old baby deer in her yard. The fawn had recently lost her mother. She was now an orphan and in serious need of help. Without proper care and protection, the fawn would die. My dad was a wildlife biologist for the Department of Natural Resources, so he was literally the guy to call in this serious situation. And without hesitation, my dad went and got the fawn, put her in a small dog kennel, and brought her home to our acreage to be cared for until she could be out on her own. We named her Peanut. For the next 3 months, my family took care of Peanut, and it was actually a ton of work. She needed bottle fed at least 4 times a day. And she wasn't just fed milk. We actually had to make this expensive formula every single day, made from eggs, condensed milk, and whole milk. Every day, we got up early when the sun came up to feed her. Then we would have to feed her 2 more times during the day. And when it was dark, before we went to bed, we would go out to her pen with a flashlight and feed her 1 more time. As Peanut got older, we could start to feed her more foods, things like apples and mulberry leaves. After a while, Peanut was starting to be big enough to let out of her pen and have a little bit more freedom. Little by little, she would venture farther away from our acreage, and we started to see her less and less. Eventually, she went back into the wild to be free, to live the life she was meant to live. Peanut was truly an outsider to our family when we got her. She didn't have a place to belong, and she was in serious trouble. But for those few months, we welcomed Peanut into our family. We protected her, we cared for her, and we sacrificed for her so she could have this brand new life. Do you ever feel like an outsider? Kind of like Peanut was? Maybe you feel lost, hopeless, or like you don't belong. Well, the truth is, we are all outsiders. We are outsiders because of our sin. See, sin makes us separated from God. Literally, we are outside of His family forever. As outsiders, we are in serious trouble. But out of His great compassion for us, God sent His Son, Jesus, to save us. He sacrificed His very life to give us this brand new life, a life filled with hope and peace and purpose, and most importantly, an eternal life with Him as part of His family. Because of Jesus, you are no longer an outsider. You belong. You have a place in God's family forever. Now, I want to ask you this. Who are the outsiders God has placed near to you? Who are the people around you who are different and in need of help? And who needs to hear the good news of Jesus so they can know that they belong in God's family too? You don't need to be afraid to share the good news of Jesus. Be bold and empowered as you remember your story, how God first brought you, an outsider, into His family through Jesus. And by God's grace, may it also be the story of the people God has placed into your life.